What is prayer? Is prayer useful, or is prayer just a spiritual bypass to avoid doing anything that is real to help others? Sometimes, when things are really difficult, we get people offering prayers and thoughts, and then we also hear a lot of people complaining about offering those prayers and thoughts. So, in this video, I'm just going to break down what is going on with all of that conversation, as well as what prayer is. So, stay tuned. Hello there, welcome to this channel. I call it Charmed Life because I believe we are all here to manifest and live a life that is full of magic and whatever that means for you. And I am your host here. My name is Tricia Carr. I'm a hypnotherapist, a coach, an intuitive, and a channel. And I want to talk to you today about the practice of prayer. Now, I'm going to talk to you about it from a few perspectives, one being the one that is the controversial side, where people are actually complaining about prayer. But I'm also going to talk to you about it from a metaphysical or spiritual side. I'll get to that toward the end. So, this is a channel about metaphysics, magic, abundance, if you will. It's about the fact that we have the energetic principles of being able to shape and create our life. And we do this while also being practical, grounded, and ethical. That's the idea of being a modern mystic. That's the idea of being a true grounded metaphysician. So, welcome to this episode, this video. I want to invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell to get notifications for when I post more of these. I also want to invite you to my podcast that's called Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. I will probably be doing a full, long episode around this topic, but expanded into something else, which I might mention in this video. Fundamentalism. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. And I also want to invite you to find me on Instagram at Tricia Carr Charm. So let's talk about prayer. As I am recording and publishing this video, we are having some painful events happening. There's war. There is, of course, always many of the other terrible issues that we are creating as a collective human race. And there has recently been a tragic, horrific shooting in which many children and innocent adults as well died, were murdered. And not to bring us down, but it is very much present. And if you are here, you might also be a highly sensitive person. You might be an empath. You might be a person, I imagine you are a person who is dedicated to compassion and unity consciousness, because that's all I'm talking about here. And so we are going through this together. Now, sometimes it's politicians. Sometimes it is just someone on Facebook when someone posts about it and someone says, yes, we're sending our thoughts and prayers. And somebody will snap back, your thoughts and prayers are useless. That's not going to save anybody. So I just want to address this because there's a big problem with that clapback, with that complaint, with that criticism that someone is offering prayer or thoughts and prayers. I think there's also a misconception. A person who is saying that perhaps they are atheistic or they don't believe in God, and that is 100% fine. By the way, you can be an atheist and still be a spiritual person because it doesn't have to do with religion. It doesn't have to do with the idea of monotheism to be spiritual, which means to love, which means to be connected to and dedicated to the life force, love force, unified energy of this existence that we are in. So I think the misconception is some of those people who are clapping back and saying that thoughts and prayers are useless, they may have some trauma from religion. And what they think prayer is someone sitting there and praying to a masculine God and doing nothing else. So the first flaw I want to bring up with this saying thoughts and prayers are useless is the person who is saying that is making the assumption that the person who is offering that is all that they are doing. They are assuming and projecting onto that person fundamentalism. Fundamentalism is not a problem only of religions. It's a problem of any human being who is being dedicated, single-minded, and projecting something onto someone else that is their single pain point and making assumptions. Making assumptions about what is right for them is right for someone else. But like I said, I digress. I'm going to have a whole subject, a video podcast, newsletter, article on fundamentalism coming up pretty soon. Stay tuned for that. So they are projecting onto the individual who's offering thoughts and prayers fundamentalism, meaning they are projecting onto that person that they are just thinking that prayer is the only thing that they need to do. They're also making, like I said, assumptions that that is all that they are doing. When a person's offering thoughts and prayers, wouldn't it be kind of ridiculous and verbose to every single time say, and also I donated to this organization and I voted for this person and I'm also protesting here? Wouldn't that be kind of, I don't know, it would seem really self-centered to then give a list of all of your accolades of the actual physical work that you're doing? So we need to be more sensitive, honestly. I want to ask the people who are clapping back when someone is offering compassion through the support of saying that they are with you in energy, they are with you with their heart, because that is what is the intention behind someone saying that, because they are feeling at a loss to resolve it entirely on their own. And so they want to join in the energy of it. It's become a bit of a war on prayer. It's a small um, cavalry of people, I would say. But if you're a sensitive person, if you're a spiritual seeker, then you may feel nervous about offering prayers, maybe on social media. But I want to empower you to look past that. Of course, it is a person in pain who is clapping back, saying that your thoughts and prayers are useless. And I want to disprove it entirely by saying that thoughts and prayers, sitting in a contemplative state about the suffering of someone else, is very useful. Sitting with compassion and holding a vision that things can be better will actually inform your practical actions to protest, to vote, to donate, to change the laws, to protect people, to speak, have conversations with others that may actually change hearts and minds. Your prayer or your time of contemplation, of holding a vision that will be helpful, that will be motivating, that will be healing, it is a very useful practice, at least in that aspect. But I'm going to break it down into how it is useful in many other ways. It is very helpful to feel concern for others when you are in pain. When I have been in pain, and someone will just care. They can't fix it for me. They can't make whatever has happened. They can't give me back what I've lost, but they can care. And they can hold my hand either literally or metaphorically by giving a word of support. And because you can't resolve it in a word, then saying and spending time in the energy of supporting someone with thoughts and prayers. I don't know about you, if you can relate to that, but I 100% can. That someone is supporting me with their loving energy, with their time that they have to contemplate, with the way they are spending, they are utilizing their consciousness. Well, that is a gift that pays dividends exponentially. And I am grateful for it. And it heals. It definitely heals. So that's one thing I want to say. It isn't all that a person is doing, but it isolated alone is very helpful. It is very healing. Now I want to talk about it from the mystical and metaphysical standpoint. And that is that when we pray, prayer is, I mean, sometimes people use the word prayer to be praying to a masculine deity and they're begging and they are not really believing that the masculine deity can, I'm just using the example of masculine deity, you know what I mean, for the old fashioned, outdated kind of religious dogmatic idea. It's just an example. So, you don't really believe that the prayer is going to do anything, or maybe you're doing it because you think you're bad. And, you kind of are begging and just like not really believing that it's going to happen. That's what some people call prayer. But what prayer really is and how it is effective, healing, and helpful is when we are actually aligning with that, with which we are praying about. Essentially, if we are praying for someone else, prayer is affirmations by proxy. Affirmations, if you know how they would work for you, you are dropping suggestions down into your subconscious mind. You are shifting and changing your energy. You are shifting and changing your brain. You're shifting and changing your whole mindset, your belief matrix. Your nervous system is believing it. And then you start to be motivated to take actions. That's what affirmations can do for you. They are hypnotic suggestions. And when we pray for someone else, we are holding that vision and we are putting out into the universe, into the collective subconscious, suggestions for their well being. We are asking the elements to come into alignment for that vision of well being, health, vitality, abundance, freedom for someone else. They are affirmations by proxy. They are you placing an order with the universe. And when we all are agreeing and sending those energetic suggestions out into the universe, then magic can really happen. So, once again, this is the energetics, this is the metaphysics, and it is what is real in the universe. It is how things happen. It really is. So, that's what we're doing. We are creating a collective thought form. Even if you don't know who else is praying in that similar energy or the same alignment with the same vision, whether it's for an individual or for an overall cause, let's say, if we are holding a vision for someone or something else to ascend, to heal and evolve. And you know what's so cool about it? If we think about a thought form that is collectively being composed in the psychic space, in the imaginal space, a thought form is something that is in formation. It is something that is becoming material reality. Eventually, we always have to have a energetic representation of something before it becomes a material representation of itself. And so if you think about creating a collective thought form, and a collective thought form, there's also a word for that in ceremonial magic called egregore. Let's say I am praying my prayer to heal the war in Ukraine, to resolve that, to help and heal those people who are suffering, who are having atrocities happen. Maybe it is the piece that I send, the fractal that I pray into that thought form, that will make it more whole, that will make it stronger. And everybody who is praying in that regard is adding their little fractal piece of energy, making it stronger, brighter, and more impactful to be able to come form as in formation. And then, of course, as I'm in that prayer, then I'm feeling my own motivation. I'm feeling my own sense of empowerment to be able to help in some real ways, if you will, quote unquote. They're all real, but you know what I mean? Like practical ways, materialized ways. And so that is one thing that is happening. And even though a person, maybe they don't believe in God, you don't need to believe in God or a religion or anything like that. It is very much like in the 12-step programs where you believe in a higher power, and a higher power can be just something that is greater than you. And if you can somehow form a relationship with that something that is greater than you, that there is a benevolence to it, that there is something that has your best interests at heart and the best interests of others. And then we can join our belief, we can join our spirit to that. That is how we overcome obstacles. That is how we come together. So I just want to encourage you to pray. Pray for others. Pray over your life. Allow that affirmation by proxy to be a comforting, energetic blanket. And of course, you can pray in gratitude and appreciation for that which you have already received and are receiving, if nothing else than the breath of life. And so I encourage you to pray, and I even encourage you to consider yourself a walking prayer on this planet in your journey, because that's how I see you. That as you are moving through spaces and places, and even as I say this, I pray this over you and I hold this vision for you as you're walking on your journey, as you're moving your energy into spaces and places, you are the light that is healing and soothing and inspiring. You are in that alignment so that something comes to you or you come to something. You are there to be the healing. You are there to be the light. And the only reason you elected to come here was to be the light. Now, it's okay that we often don't feel that, but I want to pray that for you, that today and the next day, you recognize that reality about yourself. You do walk as that light, as that prayer that I know you are. And I pray this for you. And I pray at this time for the healing of these things that are on all of the hearts and minds of those who would watch this video. Those things that are in our current timeline, and those things that are individuated in the lives, that they may be upgraded, healed, soothed, and that any obstacle be overcome with the strength that is gained by lessons, by doing things that are challenging, and that there is the learning, and then that learning is then given back as service. I know that we are here to do this. I pray a blanket of comfort and soothing over these things that are very difficult, very painful. I pray blessings, blessings, blessed words over it. I ask angels, I ask masters, I ask ancestors to be surrounding these situations, to those who are experiencing loss, to those who are experiencing fear and terror, and then for those who are just experiencing life difficulties. I pray alignment, I pray healing, I pray blessing. I hold this vision. And as I hold this vision, I also expect that we will unconditionally be walking our path with this vision, with this upgrade in our energy to be able to help and heal one another as well. I pray that I will be inspired, and I will have the will, and I will have the motivation, and I will have the awareness to do from this place of being, to do that which is healing. I thank you so much for being here. I thank you so much for being you. I thank you for coming on this journey and this mission of this life and this planet, this beautiful world that we are on. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.